An omphalos is the center, the hub, the genesis. It's the point from which all other points are measured from. In our solar system, the omphalos is the sun. It's 0 on the weighing scale. And in rom-coms, it's the meet cute.
Do you have any idea what they were arguing about?
What Einstein tells us is that the universe itself has no omphalos. There is no one fixed point from which you take all measurements from. Imagine for a second that you're an astronaut out in deep space for a walk. You're all alone and everything all around you is black. You're in a void with no stars, no sun, no satellites, not even your spaceship to orient you. And now imagine that all of a sudden you see a big red couch slowly approaching you. The question is, are you stationary and the red couch is moving towards you? Or is the couch stationary and you're the one moving? There's no way to know for sure because there is no third fixed point from which you can measure from. So the best we can do is say that relative to the couch, you're moving, but relative to you is the couch that's moving. For communication to happen between two people, they both need to be in agreement about what the words they're saying to each other mean. That is to say, they need to have the same points of reference. Most misunderstandings happen because we think we're talking about the same thing, when in reality, we're talking about completely different things. A word that comes to mind right now is thirst. It can mean thirsty, as in a desire for hydration, but it can also mean thirsty as in thirst trap, which I guess is a kind of desperation. So if you and I are having a conversation and I tell you that I'm thirsty and you bring me a glass of water,
I'm sorry.
Right now, the world is more globalized than it's ever been. A lot of us were born in one place, raised in another, and are now living in a completely different place. And even if we haven't moved from the town or city we were born in, a lot of the media we consume is from elsewhere. And what this means is that we are constantly coming into contact with people who have different reference points from us. I remember talking to a friend recently and telling them how my birthday is on the 3rd of Ramadan. And they asked, does that mean that your birthday keeps moving every year? But of course my birthday doesn't move every year because my birthday falls on the 3rd of Ramadan every year. Although from their perspective, from the reference point of the Gregorian calendar, my birthday does move. But from my reference point, I'm the astronaut and they're the couch. What we need to do, especially if we are serious about communicating, is to first establish that we have the same reference points. We must first agree on what the most important words mean in a conversation. If, for example, you told me that you want more support from me, I would ask you what support means to you. Because, especially if you don't know each other very well, what I think of when I hear the word support might be completely different from what you mean when you say the word support. And one way to get on the same page is by associating the words we don't have the same reference points for to words that we have the same reference points for. It's a kind of translation. For example, I might tell you, see, the lack of attention is a kind of dehydration, and that's why desperation is a kind of thirst. And what I need right now is a tall glass of I remember seeing this quote on Instagram, written in Estonian and attributed to Stephen Hawking. And my immediate reaction was, no, this can't be accurate because Stephen Hawking was English, so everything he said in English. It took me a while to realize that whenever I quote Marcus Aurelius or Prophet Muhammad or Lao Tzu, I'm just really quoting someone else's best attempt at translating the things they said. For most of us, the default is to think that the couch is moving towards us. The default is to have our omphalos be ourselves. It's very difficult to come to terms with the fact that we are not the center of the universe. Or, come to think of it, that the universe has no center. So to communicate effectively, we have to be willing to shift our omphalos. We need to be adaptable and be good at translations. Because even though a translation is at best an approximation, if it successfully connects to a common reference point, it's also communication. Collaboration is basically our superpower as humans. It's why we invented language. We needed a way to be on the same page about the important things. So in a way, learning to be a more effective communicator is also learning to be a better human. I have plans to make more videos about communication. The next one is going to be about how to be a better listener. So hit that subscribe button if you want the algorithm to notify you when that happens. And if you have any questions regarding this or about communication in general, let me know in the comments down below. All the best, and I will see you in the next video. In his book, Stranger Than We Can Imagine, Higgs argued that the 20th century completely changed our relationship with the envelopes. Not only did Einstein let us know that the universe has no envelopes, but all the major world's empires collapsed in the 20th century, which meant that we stopped having kings and queens and emperors as reference points. But then, and this is the kicker, Sigmund Freud also came about in the 20th century, and he, probably more than anyone else, did more to turn our envelopes inwards. So he made the individual the center of the universe.